Welcome to Hope with Jonathan podcast, where we share stories of hope. My name is Jonathan Traylor. I'm a 15-month kidney transplant recipient who faced a near-death experience back in July of 2019. I had a lot of different symptoms: chronic fatigue, swollen ankles, couldn't breathe very well, and really nauseated. And I stayed in the bed for days of what I thought was fighting the flu. No, it wasn't. It was complete kidney failure, guys. Stage 5 ESRD. Within a few days, they removed about 30 pounds of fluid, and I had to ride in a helicopter to get dialysis treatment to save my life. Listen, guys, we now try to educate people, inspire, and motivate through the power of sharing your warrior story. If you like stories like this, stay tuned. Hope with Jonathan podcast is a Hope Media production. Never let hope become a memory. Hope with Jonathan podcast is a Hope Media production. Hope with Jonathan podcast is in collaboration with Impact America Media, where we give hope to patients to continue on, stay motivated, inspire, and encourage them to continue in the journey. For more information on Impact America Media, please visit impactamericamedia.com. Again, Hope with Jonathan podcast is in collaboration with Impact America Media. Hey guys, Jonathan here. Guys, listen, we have a brand new podcast coming out produced by Hope Media Productions called Hope Stories Podcast. Let me tell you a little bit more. We wanted to give a platform for anybody to come on and share their story and message of hope. Whether you've been through a weight loss journey, maybe you faced drug addiction and you beat that, maybe you faced a near-death experience like I did with kidney disease, maybe you went through organ failure, maybe you had to get a liver transplant, or possibly you've been through a divorce, or maybe you really faced some real hardship and went through a traumatic experience. We'd like to give you an opportunity to share your story. So if you like stories like that, people that have beat the odds and overcome great obstacles in life, you'll definitely want to check out Hope Stories Podcast, now streaming everywhere, including YouTube. Check out Hope Stories Podcast. Hey guys, welcome back to the Hope with Jonathan podcast, and I'm your host, Jonathan Traylor. Hey guys, I hope you're doing well and blessed, and hope you guys are having a great November. And our next guest is Mr. Jason Zaudtke. Jason is an incredible kidney warrior who faced a near-death experience much like me with kidney failure. And Jason has turned a real negative experience in his life into a positive one. And Jason is an exerciser, and man, he has utilized walking and exercising, and he is doing really, really well with exercising and moving daily. And we talk about this into the interview where Jason shares his incredible story with battling kidney disease, doing dialysis, and in need of a living donor for transplant. But Jason goes into depths where we talk about exercising and what it's done for him. And we kind of talk about what we do when we exercise. And walking was a huge one. And we'll get into that later. I'll let you guys roll into this interview. Again, it's been an incredible honor to interview Mr. Jason Zaudtke, an incredible kidney warrior from the state of Minnesota. Hope you guys enjoy this podcast. Again, we really appreciate everyone's support for our Hope with Jonathan podcast, Hope with Jonathan Live. If you've already subscribed to our YouTube channel, we thank you from the bottom of our heart. If you haven't already, go on over there to the YouTube channel, log in, hit subscribe, click the bell, and you'll be notified of all great content coming your way. Thanks again, guys. We appreciate you. Stay blessed out there. Share love. And remember to take care of your kidneys. God bless. This is Jonathan. Hey guys, this is Jonathan, the host of the Hope with Jonathan podcast. And hey guys, Hope with Jonathan now has a website, www.hopewithjonathan.com, where you can go over and find out where to follow us on all of our social media links, our podcast, our YouTube channel, and much more. Again, guys, for more information on Hope with Jonathan, you can go to www.hopewithjonathan.com. Hey guys, welcome back to Hope with Jonathan, and I'm your host, Jonathan Traylor. Hey guys, I really appreciate all the support for the show. It's been an amazing journey. I really appreciate everyone's feedback and for everyone sharing. Also, I appreciate everyone for subscribing, all of our new subscribers to the YouTube channel over here at Hope with Jonathan. Hey guys, tonight I got a special treat for you guys. I got a guy here, a kidney patient. Jason Zaudtke from Minnesota, guys. He's got an inspiring story. He's going to be sharing why he exercises and the benefits for exercising. I wanted to talk to you guys a little bit tonight about the aspect of exercise for kidney patients. And I really, really think that you guys are going to get a lot from this interview tonight. Jason's got a really, really inspiring story. He's got a really great story that he's overcome, kidney disease, and not letting him stop him from getting involved with exercising and things like that. So I really think that exercise is beneficial for kidney patients. I myself am a huge advocate now for exercise, now exercising between 3 to 5 times a week at least. And whether I'm walking or maybe I'm mountain biking or whatever I'm doing, I'm just trying to do something at least for about an hour, hour and a half a day, and doing something to get the cardio going. Because for those of you that don't know, when you're a kidney patient, your cardio health is very important. It's very important for you guys to continue with your cardio health, but it's definitely important. And guys, again, if you do your research and do due diligence on this subject, you'll find out that the benefits are great for kidney patients to continue with some form of active exercise. But hey, guys, without further ado, guys, I'm going to go ahead and bring on our special guest tonight, Mr. Jason Zaudtke. So welcoming from all the way from Minnesota, guys, welcoming to the show. I'm going to give him the VIP treatment here, guys. Here we go. Hey, Jason, how's it going tonight?
Good, Jonathan. How are you?
I'm doing well. I am doing well. Blessed to be here.
Yeah, me too. Me too. You know, another day, every day on this in this green earth is a good day. So, you know.
That's right. Absolutely. So, Jason, I want you to introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about yourself, and we'll proceed from there. Why don't you introduce yourself?
Just a little backstory on myself. Born and raised here in Minnesota. Grew up here my whole life. As a kid, to spend summers at the lake, had a cabin. You know, we like to fish and do things in Minnesota and a lot of outdoor activities. Growing up, like I said, went up to the lake, did things like that. I played sports in high school, and always was never like a small kid, always kind of bigger kid, and grew up and played football and hockey and baseball. From there, ended up starting working in restaurants when I at a young age, doing dishwashing just part-time, and actually ended up becoming a executive chef in the industry, and took over my first kitchen at like 22 years old at a young age, and thought, I got this, life's good, and everything was good. Unfortunately, with that lifestyle of eating and drinking kind of whatever you want late nights, my weight ballooned up. Ended up at about 400 pounds, so just over 400 pounds, and finally made the decision in 2009 it was, to have bariatric surgery. I was just started being diagnosed as a type 2 diabetic. So I finally had taken the advice of the doctors and got that, because I was on a bunch of different medications for blood pressure to keep it under control, and I just got tired of taking medicines, things like that. From there, things were going good, and for the next 8-9 years, and I had some surgeries in between, and I had about 4 or 5 surgeries. I had a gallbladder removal. I had my stomach had actually torn away from my intestine, and from where the bariatric surgery was. They had to repair that, had emergency surgery for that. had hernia surgery. I had a bunch of surgeries, and unfortunately with that came some pain medications, and unfortunately I ended up with a addiction to pain medication. From there, went into treatment, got that taken care of, and thought, about 2.5 years, thought life was good, and that brought me up to last year, about 2 years into it, and I wasn't feeling well for a few months. February, just before COVID had started in February 2020, I had taken a job with a daycare center as a chef. I was trying to move my way out of the business, the restaurant business, and try to figure something else out. But she needed some help because the chef wanted to take time off and was nervous with COVID. So I said, sure. And I just wasn't feeling myself. But this church was big and that I was working at. And so I was walking probably 5-6 miles a day just in the church, walking around the building and doing things with the kids and hanging out and working. And so I just thought, wow, and I started to lose a bunch of weight, and I just wasn't feeling well. And I couldn't get in to get labs right away with COVID going on. They just kept saying, go to the emergency room if you need labs, because all the labs were shut down. Yeah. So finally in July, I had labs scheduled, and I just wasn't eating, wasn't feeling well, and I was anemic, and I was already anemic before, so they were attributing some of the stuff to that, and I went to bed on a Sunday afternoon. Was actually sitting here. I had my girlfriend call the ambulance in the afternoon. I wasn't feeling well, and the paramedics showed up here. They tested me, and I was having some bleeding, some nosebleeds that I never had before. But I just had dental implants done, so they figured maybe that one of the implants had popped the sinuses. Yeah. So it just didn't feel right, and they tested my oxygen level, and it was at like 94%. So I was like, well, they're like, maybe you're panicking a little bit, and I'm like, yeah, maybe. So I they said, do you want to go? And I said, no, I'll wait till tomorrow because I had labs scheduled the next day. And I couldn't sleep that evening. I was up and down, and tried to go to bed. And my girlfriend had brought me in a bottle of water and forgot the cap and said, well, you might spill it. I'll go grab the cap. And as she went to go grab the cap, I collapsed in the bedroom, and she found me unconscious on the floor. And That's when they rushed me to the hospital. And I don't remember any of this. I woke up 3 days later on a ventilator in the hospital, and they realized they had kidney failure. My kidneys that went into acute kidney failure to start. And unfortunately, they just never recovered. My creatinine was like 13.5 when I went in. My organs were starting to shut down. They were all starting to bleed out to get rid of the blood. They didn't know if I was going to make it, but wow. They got me on dialysis, and they came out later and said that, we got dialysis today and tomorrow because no one could come inside. They just gave my significant other and my mom and them a box of Kleenex, and we're like, we'll come get you if it's imminent. But yeah, it was, and they said they responded immediately. As soon as they got me on the sheet, I responded like immediately. My body, all my vitals started to come back, and the bleeding started to stop, but they were like, yeah, your body was just shutting down another few more hours. You probably that wouldn't have been around, if I would have went to sleep that night, no one would have checked on me. I could have been out. Yeah.
Yeah. We actually have pretty similar stories. Because I suffered a near-death experience also, and I stayed in the bed for quite a couple of days, and my wife just kept trying to get me to go to the emergency room, and I didn't have any strength, and I had a lot of different symptoms looking back, they were going along with it, nausea, just couldn't keep any food down, chronic fatigue, my ankles turned into what they call cankles. Yeah. Where they were just ballooned out, couldn't even put my shoes on. That's how bad they got. And that still wasn't a light bulb enough moment for me, or an oh crap moment for me enough to go to the emergency room until I finally tried to get out of bed. And once I got out of bed, I just fell on the floor because I had like zero strength. And I had a lot of the different symptoms that you had, anemia, all of these things. My potassium had reached a score of 9. Which is off the charts. Yeah. My heart was it was beating in this really strange, fast rhythm. And I started breathing funny because all the fluid had tried to build up on my lungs and all that. And so, man, we have a similar story. It's an amazing story, though, for both of us, because, we made it to the other side. And now you're utilizing your story to bring hope to others. So that's amazing. And I appreciate you coming on and telling your story. because I definitely like the name of the show, Hope with Jonathan. I think it gives other patients hope that they're not alone, because I knew there was other people out there that probably had, similar stories such as mine. So, so talk a little bit about when you came off of the ventilator and all that stuff. Did you continue with dialysis, or did you start dialysis in the hospital?
Yeah,
Okay.
but they had started in the hospital, and they thought, like, when I finally was coming to, when I was on the ventilator, they asked if I knew where I was at, the doctors, and I shook my head, and I knew, I had woken up, and I'm like, I've been in this place before, like I know where I'm at least, but I didn't know what day it was or anything else. So the guy, they finally took the tube out, the breathing tube out, and they said, we're going to have a dialysis. And the guy came right to my room with the machine at the hospital and started. They had a PICC line in my arm at the time just to do dialysis and did it there. But they thought I was going to be in the hospital for like 2 to 3 weeks. And I ended up coming out like 9 days later, 8 or 9. I was like, I can do this, but I just need to, I need to rest, but I need to recover. I wanted to get home and recover a little bit, and I started to get my strength back.
Yeah. Did you wake up on the machine, or was you conscious when they started putting you on the machine?
No, I woke up. I woke up and I was off of it, and then the guy was coming in probably about an hour later. They said, we're doing dialysis, and they were happy that I was awake for this session. They had treated me in the first 3 days. They had done I believe, a run each day just to get me, get the stuff back, the fluid off of me, because I really hadn't built up much fluid, but where it had, that I was noticeable, like on my legs. But where it was around my lungs. My lungs looked like they were full of pneumonia, and here it was the fluid just compressing.
Yeah, I've looked at some of your pictures before and after, the way you look right now. Just want to tell you, man, you look awesome compared to what those pictures that you sent me, before. So you were a really sick looking individual, man, compared to what you look like now. So
yeah, people would, say, are you okay? And all this, even when I came out of the hospital, and I was like, and at the time I felt, great, because compared to where I was at, and I was like, no, I feel good. But now I look back at those pictures, and I'm like, I didn't look healthy. I looked, I'm 46 years old. I look like I was, 66 years old. I didn't look healthy, and I just didn't, and so.
Yeah. But you could definitely tell, the effects of exercise has definitely paid off for you. Because the way you look right now, I'll be honest with you, if I didn't know you were suffering with kidney disease, I wouldn't think that you were a kidney patient, as well as you look right now with the color and everything, and your conditioning and everything that you're doing. And me and Jason we met on this Facebook group, guys, called Move More with Friends. I'm gonna go ahead and send a shout out with them. And little did I know that Jason was a kidney patient as well, but I did see that he was, rocking his treadmill every day and doing all that. And so it's awesome, man. So how many miles a day are you walking, Jason?
I average between 4 and 6 miles a day right now, and that's pretty much 7 days a week. Once in a while I'll take a rest day, but usually my body wants to get up and move, even on dialysis days. And that's, they kind of looked at me weird when I was doing it. And I'm just like, I feel good. So it's like, and I know if my body, if I you're going to have if something's wrong, and there's, in the beginning, there were days where I would get lightheaded or whatever. So then it's like, time to stop,
Oh yeah.
Don't try to be a hero either, but yeah.
Yeah, I started with a mile. I remember when I felt like I had accomplished something with a mile.
When I first started, I was 5 minutes maybe. Like, I remember I had the gym membership, and it was funny because I hadn't used it for like a year and a half, and so I was finally like, my significant other, God bless her soul, she was so caring for me. She told me as soon as I came out of the hospital, she said, look, I want you to take a year off of work. I want you just to focus on you, focus on getting you better and your health. And I was like, really? And she goes, yes, I got this. And I was like, thank you. And that was, it was kind of one of those things. I kind of looked, I'm like, well, I either use this or get rid of it. If we're going to pay for it, might as well be using it. So I went in and started walking, but yeah, 5 minutes and I was just like done. And I'm like, seriously? And then I was kind of mad at myself. Like, how did I let myself get this way? You know?
Yeah, it definitely, I think starting slow though is a good thing and kind of build your momentum from there. And, I remember when I first started, I could do maybe like a half a mile. And then, when I built myself up to a mile, I thought, wow, I'm really getting there. I'm really getting there, and now of course I'm doing like you, I'm doing like 5-6 miles every time I walk. But it's amazing how the body, ends up recuperating and healing and able to bounce back. Because, I'm sure you thought the same thing, when you're laying in that hospital bed, you think I'll never get back to where, I can do things again, or I'm never going to get back to, and thinking about even walking like 3 or 4 or 5 miles is like, oh man, there's no way that's ever going to happen. But so
it was, because they asked me, and it was weird because at first, when I first got diagnosed, I was happy to be alive and stuff, but then they told me, and I thought about dialysis, and I kind of got that down, like, is this what life's going to be like? And in the hospital, they just had a PICC line, and I had to stay really still because anything movement would set the machine off, And they're like, no, we'll get a catheter in, and then, fistula and do that stuff, and then you can move a little bit more and it'd be free, And I'm like, oh, okay, but I was kind of, down a little bit. But then I decided, it was funny. I looked, there was a lady that came in to dialysis when I got out of the hospital and I went into the center. There was a lady that came in and she'd been on dialysis for 12, 15 years. But here she is. She's got no amputated legs from her diabetes, things like that. And she comes in and she goes, God bless it. God bless today. And I'm lucky to be alive. And she was happy. And I said, you know what? I walked in here on my own 2 legs. I drove here. I did all this. I'm like, if she can do this, you know what? I can do this. There you go. And be that happy. And so she kind of she started off in the inspiration. And I just took it from there. And today when people ask me, like, how do you do dialysis? And I said, what do you mean? And they're like, we got to spend all the time. And I'm like, yeah. I said, you know what, but though, I look at it as a part-time job. Yep. You spend about 15 hours a week there by the time you get hooked up, off, or whatever. But I said, it's a part-time job. And they were like, yeah, you don't get paid. And I said, yes, I do. I said, I get to live one more day. I said,
there you go.
So I said, if you look at, and they were like, you know what, if you look at it that way, I said, it's all in how you look at it, and that's when I kind of looked into you a little bit, when we kind of hooked up on Facebook, and that's, I like that, I think both of us want to inspire people and get awareness out there too, because I believe this is the next big thing, and it's a silent killer. I mean, people don't know until it's too late usually.
Absolutely.
What is it, 37 million Americans have kidney disease right now, and it's only getting more and more, and it seems to be younger and younger. I mean, we're seeing younger patients in the dialysis centers, things like that. I mean, it's
I wanted to help. I feel like I survived for a reason, and I felt like God had bigger plans for me, and try to help other people and inspire other people. And I think about things in life a lot differently than I did before I had my near-death experience with kidney disease. And I've actually changed a lot, and my life's really altered and changed for the better. And so, and that's why I started doing things like this podcast, and doing shows like this to try to help inspire other patients. But let's rewind a little bit. So when you started exercising, did you consult with your nephrologist or your team?
I did. I asked them, I said, what would you think about, just starting exercise? And I said, because the other thing is I had lost like 60, 70 pounds, when I was sick there, in like that 4 or 5 month period before I went in the hospital. So I had lost a lot of muscle. So I was very weak, and, I had atrophied so much. So I wanted to get some of that strength back. So I talked to them, and they said, yeah, and they were like, just don't expect much, and take your time. And I said, okay, and that's, like I said, I barely get 5 minutes in, but now looking back on everything, I would recommend it. You just start where you can. There's some people that might not be able to even walk, there's exercises you can do in your chair, things like that, just to get your strength back up. I get it. Everyone's different. So,
yeah, I definitely would suggest, before you even think about starting an exercise regimen, that you consult with your team and talk with them, because in no way, shape, or form are we trying to tell, everyone to just start right away or start something. You definitely want to consult with your team first and see what, they tell you. But we're just trying to share the benefits of what, we can only share from our experience, what it's done for us. And, I can tell you firsthand that exercise for me is not only good for my physical well-being, but it's also good for the mental side of things, especially when you're battling, kidney disease. People suffer with, depression and all that type of stuff. So I think it's very beneficial for your mental health. Do you find that it's beneficial for you?
Absolutely, and especially in the world we're in now with COVID and all this and the shutdowns, I think this has really helped me in ways that are just immensely, And like I talked earlier, I'm a changed individual. I'm more kind and compassionate and caring, and I take things, a lot differently, and I look at things a lot differently than I did before. But it really helps, if I'm having even just kind of a down morning, and as soon as I go and do my workout, I get done, and you get those natural endorphins, and I feel good, and I'm happy, and it's just like, all right, let's get on with the day, and I kind of smile about halfway through as I'm getting going, and it feels good, and it really does. That mental aspect, especially right now. But yeah, with other things, like you said, with the depression and things, I not that I don't have my down days, I do, but I can get over them pretty quick too. I can go and do my thing or talk about it quick with somebody, and then, get back on the horse and get back to helping others,
Yeah. How's your labs looking with the exercising and all that? Are you following a renal diet pretty strictly?
I am pretty good. That's where being a chef come in pretty handy. I've been able to do things, with salt free and sodium, and not in the beginning. I was really like super strict, watching everything and counting and everything. Since I have started exercising, there's days I can relax, just with the sodium and things, because I've been very blessed with my fluid gains where I don't have a lot. There were some patients do. And, but yeah, I still try to follow. The phosphorus is a big one, and that's where a chef been coming in handy, because most of our food here in the U.S. is processed. So a lot of it, the phosphorus is in the preservatives to keep the food. So it's like, making fresh food really helps keep those things down. My labs right now, I do, when I first started, when I came out of the hospital, I was on like 8 different medications, and I'm down to 1 right now. And that's just the phosphorus binder to help bind some of that phosphorus. But I got off all my blood pressure medications, everything else.
Wow.
The last labs came back, everything was pretty much in normal line. The phosphorus was just a little elevated, but that's because we went on a vitamin D regimen to get my vitamin D up a little bit, and that can sometimes raise it. So hopefully next month it'll pop right back down. But everything's been in the normal range, which has been good. And amazing. And that's, in the beginning, it wasn't before exercise and stuff. It would be good 1 month, and then the next month it'd just be up and down. And then it's trying to, you start getting that mental thing and start getting mad at yourself and trying to figure out what you're doing wrong. And it's like, sometimes it's just your body, you don't have your kidneys working. There's nothing you can, you're trying the best you can. That's all you can do.
That's right. Yeah. So the walking's definitely paying off for you and helping you out with your labs. Also eating the fresh foods. I remember when I was first diagnosed, man, I was on Google. I was doing all kind of research, and you start really looking up a lot of different things online and researching. And then we went to the grocery store, and I literally spent like 2 or 3 hours just looking at bags and boxes and just different things. And then I realized that most of the junk that I was eating for the majority of my life was terrible for me. And it's like I said, this whole experience has changed me a lot. I mean, I eat a lot more of grilled chicken and vegetables and things like this now, instead of, cheeseburgers and pizzas and, Mexican food. I mean, what I had to do was realize that there was a word called accountability. And I had to start being accountable for the things that I was consuming and eating and putting in my body. And I had to learn also that these type of foods are sometimes foods, or occasional, if you want to celebrate or things like that, but they're not everyday foods. Mm-hmm. And so I had to start, changing my lifestyle of things that I was eating. and consuming. And like I said, I learned the fresher the vegetables, the fresher the food, the better for you. So that was definitely the mindset that I had whenever I was following the renal diet really strictly. As a matter of fact, I ate a lot of the same meals every night on repeat for the most part because it worked. It was working for my labs and it was working for me. So what type of foods are you eating, Mike?
I'm pretty, with kidney, it's kind of funny because when you're in like chronic, when you're first diagnosed with chronic kidney disease and things like that, they want you to lessen your protein because it's harder, your body's processing it and things like that. But then now when you have kidney failure, you need protein. And so I'm a pretty high protein diet where I'm probably 150 to 200 milligrams of grams of protein a day, which is, pretty much a gram per body weight is what I do.
Yeah.
So like you said, a lot of chicken, things like that. But there'll be, what I find is maybe on Sunday is a meal prep day where, cook off 6, 8, 10 chicken breasts, for the week. So I have them. And so I'm not scrambling for food. I find that if you kind of prepare yourself and set yourself up, then you ain't scrambling so much.
Oh, for sure.
Because when you're hungry at times, then you're hungry, and then you're grabbing whatever's close. And, and I'm guilty of that. There's times I can just grab, and it's like, but hey, like you said, like you just talked about, those should be those occasional foods. It shouldn't be an everyday thing, and that's where you get caught in that trap real easy.
Yeah, I did a show with Kelsey Reed. She's a CKD kidney dietitian, and she was talking about it's okay to sometimes eat at like fast food restaurants, and there are some things that you can eat there. It's definitely not suggested like an everyday thing. But I mean, if you guys find a time or a period that you guys want to go out somewhere, are you eating it sometimes occasionally at like fast food, or do you guys go to like sit down restaurants or anything like that?
Well, sometimes we'll order out or whatever, or, once in a while, but like even when I order, if we splurge, have pizza or whatever, I've changed my toppings. Instead of having like pepperoni and salty toppings, I'll go with like just a hamburger that doesn't have, any seasoning in it and things like that, if they are using fresh burger. And then if I do, if end up getting fast food, it's usually chicken from somewhere, and I try to get the grilled option if they have it. And there is some healthier choices, and again, the biggest thing there is between the sodium and the phosphorus. It's kind of, but like you said, once in a while, and if your labs are good, it's okay to splurge. You can't, we're not robots either. We got to, be able to enjoy a little bit.
Oh yeah,
but take our health into account, and take it serious too, that we only got one body, and it's how many times can you come back from or anything, and then I don't want to go through that experience I went through, again.
Exactly. So. Yeah, exactly. It's a frightening experience for sure. So exercise is definitely important, guys. Not only for your physical aspect, but your mental aspect. It's going to help you out a lot, especially on those days when you just aren't feeling it. You're not with things. You feel down, or you realize oh man, I got to go into dialysis today, or you just start thinking about things. I'm telling you, if you will incorporate exercise, it will help you so much. It gets your mind off of things, and give you a whole new aspect of things. You'd be amazed at what just, even 30 minutes or so, just get outside and, breathe the air and listen to the birds chirp and the wind blowing through the trees. I mean, it'll change your whole, mental aspect on things. So, I definitely recommend it. Jason, I know you definitely recommend for people to get involved with exercise.
Yeah, and like we said, everyone's going to start different. Like I said, first consult your nephrologist. Don't go, into it without consulting them first, because I don't know what other issues that people might have or whatever, So you definitely want to make sure you're okay to do that. But secondly, just start out with what you feel comfortable with, and it might be a walk from here to the mailbox that you normally don't do, or Instead of, if you're sitting on the sofa and a loved one's walking by and you're like, hey, grab me a water out of the fridge. Why don't, it might be just getting up and going to grab that yourself.
Yeah.
There's little things that you can be done. And, another benefit that from the exercise for me is when you do, it didn't take long to work. It's been about 7-8 months now total. So I mean, it's a long time, but it's a short time that it worked my way up to where I'm at. Your body will, adjust over time.
Absolutely.
And it's helped me, luckily, like I said, with fluid gain. When you get into that exercise where you're really putting in a good, decent effort and you're starting to sweat pretty good, it's allowed me to relax a little bit. I mean, I think last week there was a day I drank 1.5 gallons of fluid and I went in with like a 2 pound or 2 kilogram and a half gain, 3 pound gain is all between my sessions, where normally that would have been a, major blow.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But I was busy that day, and it's like today, before I did this, I laid a floor in my parents' bathroom. So these are things I didn't think I would be doing last year when they got diagnosed at all, ever.
Exactly. And I think you could probably accredit that to the good Lord above, and then also the exercise, because it's definitely paying off for you, because it's giving you that added boost, the added strength while you're doing dialysis.
Yeah, it does, and definitely the good Lord has blessed me, and continues to each and every day. And I thank him, because if it wasn't, he wants me here for a reason. And, and like I said, I think maybe it's to help others and like you, I think that's, here to get the word out to others and just try to help where we can, and motivate, and it's not even about, it's just showing people there is hope, you don't, just because you've been diagnosed with it and you have to do dialysis, it's not like a sentence you're going to have to just sit around and do any, there's things you can do. We travel, you just got to plan a little ahead. I had to plan to find dialysis centers, but we went to Florida, we went up to the lake in Minnesota, and I had to drive a half hour each way to go to dialysis, but it afforded me to be able to spend, so I didn't have to drive, could only go up for 2 days and then drive 5 hours each way, at least there was one close enough. And nowadays there seem to be centers pretty much everywhere you go, which is pretty nice,
Absolutely. No, it's definitely not a death sentence at all. You can unfortunately die from it, but it's definitely not like a automatic, death sentence when you get diagnosed. But if you don't do things the right way, or follow your treatment plan, or follow closely with your team, it can go south on you really quickly.
That's the biggest thing, is to follow, the diet, I mean, yes, what you do. And there's some things, I mean, I can look at, that I might take with my doctor and might say, yeah, okay, but most of the time I follow, that's what they know, but if there's other things that are little, and I know my body's going to do one thing or the other, and that's, that's kind of how I go with it. But yeah, for the most part, just follow. The big thing is to follow your treatment plan. I mean, if your numbers are off or things like that, try to get them back in line. That's the first thing foremost, because without those being healthy, you could do all the exercise you want. It ain't going to help. I mean, if you don't follow a diet somewhat, or do certain things, if you're still eating out fast food, it's not going to help every day,
Yeah. I totally agree. So, Jason, you are doing in-center dialysis with DaVita?
Yeah. Okay,
and you're doing that 3 times a week. What schedule are you on?
I'm on Tuesday, Thursday, Saturdays.
Okay, I did the same thing. I was on TTS as well. Whenever I was in center dialysis, I was doing that, and then of course I ended up progressing to changed over to home hemodialysis. But so you right now you're doing dialysis in center. You're also exercising, and you're also listed on the transplant list. So why don't we talk a little bit about where you're listed right now?
Yep. I'm listed at Hennepin Healthcare in Minneapolis. I was listed back in April this year. I went through all the tests, and that was a crazy day going through all those battery tests to get on the list. But and I did a stress echo, and they thought they found something wrong with the heart, but here it was the machine. There's like a 20% possibility that there's a lower left part that shows up on the machine. But the problem was my dad had the same issue, and my uncle who actually had just recently passed away. So I was like, you know what? The cardiologist is like, what do you want to do? Do you want to get it checked, or we just leave it alone? And I'm like, you know what? Let's just get it checked to be sure. I'd rather be safe than sorry. So we did a full angiogram, and it was funny. I was laying there awake, and he got done, and he goes, look, everything looks good. And I said, so when can I? And I asked him right on that table that day. I was like, hey, when can I get back to walking on the treadmill? And he goes, well, tomorrow. And the guy goes, well, wait a minute. Maybe we should give him a day. You know, we're in a main artery here. We should probably let that heal another day or two. And I was like, all right, I'll give it like 3 days, you know. But yeah, you know, listed there at Hennepin Healthcare.
Okay.
Type A or O,
Yeah.
is my blood type. And then, I do have a few people getting tested to see if they're a match. Nothing's come up yet, but I know that, you know, when the time's right and the good Lord wants it, that there'll be a match, you know.
That's right.
It was kind of funny because I had a friend reach out on Facebook that I went to grade school with. I talked to her on Facebook once in a great while, but just kind of followed her, and she reached out to me and was like, you know, and she went and is going to get tested. So it's kind of weird, like how, you know, somebody I haven't seen in how many years, you know, she was like, I don't know how to help, but I think this might help. And I said, hey, give it a shot. You know, we just, and I said, I appreciate it. You know, it just, even taking the time to even think about it, it's a huge thing.
Oh, absolutely. It's an awesome thing for somebody to even think about reaching out and helping you out. So, you know, they're basically heroes. Donors are heroes in my book. So, for sure. And, so, you know, like he's mentioned, you know, it's going to happen in a time, you know, you're probably not even thinking about it. That's what happened with me. I got the call. I was heading out to go somewhere. We were heading out the door, and next thing I know, I got a phone call, and I didn't take the phone call. And my wife got a text from this person. And ultimately it was the call for someone to offer me the kidney. And it was an amazing situation, bittersweet moment for me, because I actually knew my donor, who sadly passed away. But, you know, it was just an incredible situation that was life-changing for me, because it definitely helped me get me off of dialysis. And I'm 1 year post, just celebrated 1 year. So August the 11th. But I just want to encourage you, Jason, that it can happen for you. You know, it sounds like you already got, you know, a couple of donors, but from what I understand and what I've learned over the course of a year is you can never have too many potential donors lined up, because a lot of times people go in. I had quite a few, 3 or 4 go in to get tested, but one of the ladies in particular found out that she had a heart issue and ended up having to have a pacemaker put in because of the fact that she went in to get tested for me. So a lot of times little underlining health conditions get found out when they go in to test.
Yeah. What I was going to say quick is, I know, like, you know, people go in to get you know, and that's, you know, they might find out stuff, but I know, like, the transplant center, they're very, you know, like, you know, you have to have things in order and things like that, and your health has to be good. But even if, you know, you think, well, I'm a little overweight or this or that, the thing is the transplant center, they'll work with you. They'll set you up with dietitians, whatever else. And It's pretty awesome. Like, I mean, and all those resources are no cost to you. That's to the donor. That's amazing, you know?
Yeah.
The ends they go to. So it's pretty amazing that the help that, you know, they'll help the donor with, you know, too. So,
yeah. I always tell people to go ahead and send them to the transplant hospital and let them make the decision.
Yep.
You know, let them figure out, you know, if they're going to be a match for you, because just because, you know, they have a certain ailment or this, that, or the other, you never know. They may be able to work with them and figure it out, help them out. So, and like you said, sometimes they put them on a, you know, like a weight loss, you know, journey or things like that. So to help them get there. Also, your hospital, I'm sure, participates in the paired exchange program.
Yes. Yep.
Yep.
Yep. Yep.
You want to talk a little bit of how the paired exchange works?
Where one donor, if you have a donor willing to donate, but you're not a match, but the other person is a match for someone else, you can do a exchange with them.
Yep.
You know, I know a little bit about it. I'm not the, you know, I've read about it a little bit when I was doing my, transplant stuff, but yeah, it's a pretty neat program that, you know, just because even you're willing to donate and you might not be a match for me, but if you're still willing to donate to someone else that is a match for me, we can trade, trade the organ. So that's a pretty cool thing, because there's people out there I know that still want to donate, and they're like, but I really wish I could help you, but you still are if there's a match out there for me and you can help somebody else out. So everybody's helping everybody.
Yeah.
And, I think right now that the world needs a little bit of helping out. Everybody needs helping, and I like that, it's a good thing.
Oh yeah. Paired exchange is a win-win. Definitely. It's helped a lot of people, and a lot of them are in large quantities. So a lot of times you see, 4 or 5 people, involved in these big paired exchanges, things like that. But it's definitely a win-win.
Sorry to interrupt.
It's okay.
They were telling me a story when I was at the hospital about there was 8 or 10 people involved in this one, and it was crazy. But they got it all figured out, and they were like, yeah, and it was a time crunch trying to get everything because everybody had matched up, and it was just so weird. But we got it all done, and the phones were ringing and calling people. And I said, yeah, because that times, when an organ comes up, that times it's not a long, you got to get going and get moving. So.
That's awesome information. Another thing is that you're A blood type. So like you mentioned, you can also accept an O kidney. So that gives you some options there. And then we already discussed the paired exchange program. Guys, if you're willing to, possibly be a donor for Jason, I'll have all of the information in the description that you'll be able to find out all the information. Definitely want to send a shout out to everybody that's been watching. KWM Kidney Warrior Merch, shout out to you guys. Midwest Kidney Warrior Shane Blanchard, appreciate you watching. Philip Harris Jones Jr. from A Second Chance podcast, go check them out, guys. Definitely appreciate you guys' support. We had some others watching as well. Michael, I appreciate you chiming in on the comments. And guys, again, we'll have all the information, like I said, that's been shared in this commentary in the description. We'll share it all there. But Jason, I always give people an opportunity before we close out the show to tell, what a kidney transplant would do for you right now.
For me, it would give me, just the freedom to go back to doing, like I said, I do travel and stuff, but it would just give me that little excess freedom to go and do things with my family and loved ones. And the other big thing for me is the healthier I am, to be able to give back to others. I just want to be able to help support others, get awareness out there to others. And without being healthy, I'm not going to be able to do that. But I want to, show that you can do things while on kidney failure. You can still lead a active life and do the things you still want to do, within reason. But, that's the big thing, is to be as healthy. To me, it would just be it's a second chance at life. And the dialysis has been a good chance, but it'll give me the more freedom to get out and hopefully reach out and be able to travel maybe more often to talk to other people and do talks and things like that. It's something I'm definitely looking into and would like to go help motivate some people, yeah.
Awesome, Jason. That's an awesome answer to that, and I appreciate your reply. Man, I really appreciate you coming on and doing the show. You're an inspiration to other kidney patients, and man, I see what you're doing. I see the walking and all that. You're like a living testimony of what exercise can do, and for you as a kidney patient. And it's awesome. So, guys, again, I'll have all the information in the description where you can find Jason if you're interested at all with talking with him. But amazing interview tonight. Amazing show, guys. Again, this has been a great show with Hope with Jonathan. Quickly, I'm going to let Jason send a shout out or send a hello or goodbye to anybody that he wants to before we close out the show.
Just a shout out to my parents and my family, and then also my significant other, Lynn. She's been the rock, she's supported me through this, and she's been through lots of up and downs with me, but yeah, she's been there and been very supportive and helps me out. And it was with our technical issue, it was kind of funny. It was her computer that saved the day. She walked in the door and had her work computer, and we got it up and running. So I said, see, you were there for a reason. She thought she was going to come in and interrupt us. So
Yep.
it worked out. But yeah, shout out to that, and always, and first and foremost, though, shout out to the good Lord above for allowing us to be here and do this. So,
amen to that, brother. Shout out to the good Lord. I know without a doubt, if it hadn't been for the prayers and support of my family and the good Lord above, I wouldn't be sitting here right now doing this podcast. So, shout out to my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. Shout out to him. So, but guys, again, this has been a really inspiring story. Appreciate Jason, and man, we're definitely in your corner, brother, and we're here for you. And you know, in this kidney community, you know, we're all brothers and sisters in this kidney community. So definitely in your corner, man. We're going to continue to believe for you that you know, that transplant's coming soon, that donor's coming soon. Whether it be a deceased or a living donor, either way, man, we just we pray for the best for you.
Yes, I appreciate it very much, Jonathan, and thank you for having me on. And I look forward to chatting with you in the future. Maybe we can get together and talk after this, you know, down the road here in the next couple of days, and maybe start to do some collaboration and get some hope out there, and you know, together. And that's the big thing, you know, is to get hope out there for everybody, and just show them that they can do things, you know, even before, after, during, you know, whatever's going on in your life, you can do it, you know. So
absolutely, man. We're all about collaborating and networking, and it's great. So definitely, we'll have to have you back sometime on a panel, possibly, or talk about exercise and, you know, things like that.
Absolutely, I would love to. I'm actually trying to maybe start on working up a small exercise program for, like, even if you're sitting sedentary, things like that, for some of the patients in my center, and try to get a tryout on them and see where that goes, you know. So maybe next time we get together, maybe I'll have something put together, and we can, and, you know, get it out, a resource to people so they can, you know.
Absolutely, brother. Absolutely. But hey, guys, again, we appreciate everyone's support for Hope with Jonathan, what we're doing with Hope with Jonathan. And you guys have been amazing. All of our supporters and sponsors, really appreciate you guys. And again, guys, it's been another show here with Hope with Jonathan. We hope you guys will continue to stay safe out there. Remember to continue to be mindful of the COVID and be wise, and just use some good common sense. You know, continue to wash your hands and sanitize. Make sure you're masking up in public places for sure. But hey, guys, we want you guys to stay safe out there. God bless you. Take care of your kidneys.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, Jonathan.
No problem.
Hey guys, go over to www.kidneywarriormerch.com. Submit your story today and get a shot at being the Warrior of the Month. If you're selected as the Warrior of the Month, you'll get a chance to interview with Hope with Jonathan podcast. Whether you're a kidney warrior, kidney dialysis patient, or even a kidney transplant patient, or maybe you've just been diagnosed with kidney disease, go over to www.kidneywarriormerch.com kidneywarriormerch.com and submit your story today. Kidney Warrior Merch is a supporter of Hope with Jonathan podcast. Again, guys, that's www.kidneywarriormerch.com. KidneyTrails.com. Kidney Trails is an organization that is dedicated to helping those that may be facing kidney disease by education, inspiration, and motivation, by bringing real-life experience from those that have traveled the road of kidney disease, and also information from the medical professionals to help you on your journey. Guys, Kidney Trails offers blog writings from many different writers and authors who give an aspect and real life experiences with battling kidney disease, dialysis, transplant, and more. Guys, KidneyTrails.com has videos. They also offer a podcast called the Kidney Trails Podcast. And soon to be released, a comic book is coming out. Guys, for more information on this, go to www.kidneytrails.com. Thanks again, guys, for tuning in to the Hope with Jonathan podcast. I hope you guys enjoyed this interview with the amazing Jason Zaudtke from state of Minnesota. What an incredible kidney warrior. Faced adversity and came a long way with exercising and changing his mindset, and just keeping a real good positive mindset, I think, goes a long way. And Jason is a model of this. If you don't already know Jason, you can reach out to him over there on Facebook, Jason Zaudtke. And he's an incredible guy. Really enjoyed interviewing him. Really enjoyed talking with him. Have to bring him back on sometime and see how he's doing. Really wish him the best, and hopefully soon he gets blessed with the miracle gift of life of transplant. Thanks again, guys, for tuning in. We really appreciate all your support. Again, if you haven't already checked out our website, you can go check it out, hopewithjonathan.com. You can listen to our podcast over there. You can check out live streaming interviews that we've done over on YouTube. You can also support us with the listener support. You can also purchase merch to help support us if you're interested at all. And you can also subscribe to our YouTube channel if you haven't already done so. Make sure you click that bell and you'll be notified of all great content coming back your way. Hey guys, thanks again for all your support. Appreciate all the support for Hope with Jonathan. And we hope you guys stay blessed. Remember to stay safe out there. Take care of your kidneys. God bless you. This is Jonathan.